Hello and welcome to Math 2412 Pre-Calculus. I'm Professor Algio, and so I want to welcome you to my class. And I just kind of wanted to go over where you could find everything and kind of what the expectations will be for the course and so on. And so this is the home of our D2L page, and so you'll have two of these in D2L, but you'll want to pick the one that has the section number 1501. And so when you go in here, there'll be course announcements. And so this is just kind of welcoming you to the course and telling you where you can find some different things, which I'm going to go over in this video. And once I'm done with that, I'll actually post the link to this video in the announcements right here. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go to content here. And this is where you're going to find everything that you need. And so we'll take a look at the syllabus in a moment, and then I have an e-textbook right here, so you do not need to purchase a textbook. We're going to use a free digital one we have available. We'll look at our course calendar, and then here's a link to all the lecture videos, and then here's some additional printouts and videos and stuff, and we'll go over that also. Here you can find the study guides for the course for each exam. And then here's how you can submit your work for each exam right here. And then down here is just some stuff about OTS if you're having any issues with technology. So everything's going to be done here, so you're not going to have to purchase an online homework access code or anything like that. So that's the good news. You're not going to have to do any of that. So we'll just go here. We'll kind of go in order. So I'll start with the syllabus. I have it pulled up already right here. So here's the syllabus. Okay, so here's my email. You can contact me through D2L. That's completely fine. Uh, Sometimes I don't look at it on a daily basis, though. That email, this one, I check multiple times a day right here. Either one's fine. So whatever you want to do. Office hours, basically, you can contact me and we can set up a time to meet if you'd like on WebEx. Also, I am going to have office hours on campus uh, Monday through Thursday from 11 to 12. There's other times I'll be available, so just reach out if you want to get together. But the best way to contact me and to get help with the course is just go ahead and shoot me an email and send me a screenshot or just be really specific about what problem you need help with, either from the homework or the notes, wherever you're referring to, just make sure you're clear about it. The easiest thing is to send a screenshot with it. And then what I'll do is I'll make you a video and I'll send it back to you. And I try to get those back within 24 hours. I do my best to do that. Okay, so prior to this course, you should have taken trigonometry. And so you'll notice that in our first unit, we're actually going to review quite a bit of trigonometry in in our first unit of this course. By the way, pre-cal, it is exactly what it is. It's basically the precursor to calculus. It's just preparation of everything that you need to know before taking the calculus sequence. And so a lot of the material we're going to cover will be a review, but it will also go a little bit further in depth than maybe you've seen before. Okay, so materials required, no textbook required. All the homework and stuff will be completed in D2L, so you're not going to have to pay for any of that. As far as a calculator, you can, a graphing calculator is great. It's a little bit easier to use. That's going to be the calculator you're going to see used in most of the video lecture notes. Don't absolutely have to have one, but they do make life a little bit easier. Also, there's an online calculator for Desmos that's pretty popular. A little bit of a learning curve on using it, but it's got some pretty cool stuff you can do on that. So let's see here. If you click here, this will just take you to the outcomes of the course. It's just basically mandated by the state, like what objectives will be covered. And so if you want to take a look at that on your own, you're more than welcome to. Okay, how are you going to be evaluated? Well, we're going to have homework checks, and I'll show you how to find those in a minute. That's going to be 15%, and then we have 4 regular exams. That'll be 65%, and then we have a final exam, which is 20%. And the breakdown of your grades should look pretty familiar here. Um, just to note, if you do earn a D, that does count for Lone Star, but most universities will make you retake the course when you transfer. So if you're going to transfer to U of H or Sam Houston, they may ask you to retake the course if you make a D. So just keep that in mind. We're shooting for above that. Okay, I'm not going to read through all this, but make sure you take the time to read through this because you will have an orientation quiz in D2L. Once again, I'll show you that in a minute, but you might want to read over these policies and stuff because it might come up on the quiz. Okay, homework checks. So the homework checks are in D2L, and I'm going to go ahead and show you those, I guess, now. And you get multiple attempts when you do your homework checks. You get 3 attempts. So what you want to do is you'll go up to course activities and click on quizzes, and that's where all your assignments are actually going to be. And so right here, our current quizzes are the orientation quiz I was telling you about. Then we have a prerequisite algebra quiz and a prerequisite trigonometry quiz. So those are just 2 things that you should come to this course already knowing. So what you could do is you could take the quizzes, and if you don't do very well, I'm going to show you where to find some resources to help you with that. And then here's the homework checks. So this is kind of related to the pre-cal homework checks from the book. And so right here we have part 1, part 2, and then we have parabolas and ellipses and so on. And so I'll go ahead and click on one of these so you can kind of see it. Let's see, preview. Sometimes they're fill in the blank, sometimes they're multiple choice and so on. You'll just have to look at the formatting, and a lot of times there's kind of some explanations on how to do it. So let's see, this just needs to, there we go. So solve the following equation using the quadratic formula. And so that's hopefully something you can recall from college algebra. And like I said, if not, I'm going to show you some places to kind of review if you need to. So this is multiple choice here. And so basically you would put it into the quadratic formula and then try to figure out which one matches up. So right here, when solving the following equation, factor, so basically factor, but they actually, let's see, which of the following is a factor? So you're going to factor it, and so one of them should match up with one of these answers here. And then so on. I believe we eventually get to solving, yes. So solve, so this time they actually want you to solve and so on. So a lot of it's multiple choice, but not all of it. Looks like, okay, here we go. So here's an example where you actually are going to type it in. So basically it says, make sure you read the explanation on how to give your answer. Give your answer as a decimal approximations rounded to the nearest 2 decimal places, separated by a comma with no spaces in between. So just be careful, and then there's actually an example of how to put your answer in there. That is not the answer, but that's an example of how to put it in there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here, and I'm going to go back to content. And let's see. So just because we're talking about this right now, I'm going to go ahead and show you where you can find those resources. So that's going to be under additional printouts and links. I'm going to click on this. And there's some, here are some printouts that might help you. Basic trig summary sheets. The unit circle might be helpful for you. And then algebra and trig review. So those documents, you might want to look over those to help you with those prereq quizzes. And then here are the videos that help you. So right here, look, they're even titled. So for the algebra review, quadratic formula, the square root method, factoring, simplifying, and so on. And then you can see the trigonometry reviews right here for the unit circle, quadrant check, and so on. So all these videos basically have very similar examples to those prereq quizzes. All right, so we'll go back to our syllabus. So that's the homework checks. Um, And so, as I was telling you, you get 3 attempts for each one, and you'll get the highest out of the 3 attempts. On the orientation quiz, though, I believe you only get 2 attempts. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then at the end of the semester, I will drop your two lowest homework check scores. Okay, exams. There will be four regular exams, and then at the end, we'll have a comprehensive final. So all the exams will actually be done in D2L. Also, it's very similar to the homework checks. So as long as you do those and get comfortable with how to input your answers and all that, you shouldn't have any problems. So here we are with our policies. Let's see, you can only take the exam once. You're going to be given a 3-hour time limit, and you'll be given like a 5-day window in order to take these, and I'll show you that in the calendar in a little bit. So you can use whatever calculator you like, a graphing calculator or the Desmos. You, I am allowing notes. Okay, so notes are allowed. Um, Basically, this is kind of saying the same thing about the homework checks. The exams will have, multiple choice, matching, fill in the blank, short answers, stuff like that. So students should not share their answers. Do not collaborate during the exams. Okay. Um, Basically, I'm allowing you to use your notes, but other than that, you really don't need to be using anything else. Okay. And we are currently working with a company to possibly proctor a couple of these exams digitally. And so you may have to, I'm waiting to hear more about this, but you may have to log into a website and have somebody proctor you while you're taking the exam. I'll let y'all know. From what I hear, this may not take effect until March. And so I put it in the syllabus as though it may happen. And so we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, grading and earning partial credit on exams. So back in D2L here, on exam work submissions, if you want to earn the possibility of getting partial credit, you'll have to come here and submit your work, and you need to submit it within 1 hour of submitting your exam. And so you can see the deadline right here for our first exam is going to be from February 10th to February 14th. And so anytime in between there, you take the exam. And if you want to earn the possibility of earning partial credit, you need to upload your work. And so this gives you some very detailed directions about how I want it to be a single document. It's very difficult if you send me 5 or 6 pages and I'm trying to comb through it. So make sure you read through this if you are going to submit it. I, to possibly earn that partial credit. Okay, so back to our syllabus. Okay, um, so this has the same directions basically about how to submit your partial work, or I'm sorry, your work for partial credit. Okay, let's see. So just make sure you read through this. I just don't want to read off of this the whole time. So let's see. Um, Accommodations, if you do have any accommodations, please email me right away so we can make sure we're following those guidelines. Okay, makeups, this is important. So basically, there aren't going to be any makeups, but I will replace your lowest exam score with how you perform on the final exam. So let's just say you did poorly on one of the four exams. It will get replaced by how you perform on the final exam. Or if something happened and you missed an exam, that would get replaced with how you perform on the final exam. So that's kind of how I like to deal with makeups. Is that instead I'll just replace your lowest exam score with how you perform on the final. Okay, withdrawal, the last day to drop would be April 4th, if that ends up being needed. Let's see. Mm, I think that might do it. Here's just our departmental information for our dean and chair. I think that does it for the syllabus. Let's go back here. Okay, so next, we can take a little look at the textbook. So here, if you click this, I already have it open, so I'm going to go to it. Here's our textbook. This was designed by one of our faculty when we had a grant a couple of years ago. And so the idea was to make it more affordable for students. And so Professor Turnell made this wonderful digital pre-calculus book for us. And so it starts out with vectors and so on. It's pretty long. It's a couple hundred pages. And there we go. There's the page numbers because you'll want to see those page numbers because I'm going to show you where to find the videos for the lessons. Now, I do go a little out of order of this book, which it's fine because pre-calculus, like I said, it's just kind of a combination of a lot of different topics you've probably seen before. And so you don't really have to go in a particular order. So the way I ordered it, it's a little different than the way she put it together. And it's fine. It shouldn't be a problem. Here is our calendar. Oops. Oops, that's not our calendar. There we go. Here's our calendar. And so right here, so for January 17th, read over the syllabus, take the orientation quiz. And by the way, this calendar is just an ideal pacing. You don't need to move at this exact rate. The only thing you really have to worry about are the due dates. Okay, so maybe your work schedule makes it to where you have to do most of your work on the weekends or whatever may be the case. This is just an ideal pacing calendar that if I were teaching the course in person, this is probably about the pace I would be going. And so day one, go over the syllabus and then make sure you take the orientation quiz. And then on Thursday, let's see, I have trig review videos. These will help you complete the prerequisite quizzes. So you want to take care of those prerequisite quizzes. The orientation quiz is absolutely due by the 24th. I hope you take it way before then, but I want to give you at least a week to take that. And then we have trig equations part one. So this is where the trig material, or I'm sorry, the pre-calculus material actually starts from the textbook. And I'll show you how to find that in the textbook in just a minute. And then here on January 26th, you need to be up to date on trig equations part two. And then the prerequisite quizzes are due on that day. Once again, you don't have to wait till the 26th. You can complete it on the 17th if you really want to, okay, or the 18th, 19th, or something, but they are due by the 26th. That's the last opportunity you'll have to submit those. And then as you go through, I just kind of pace it out, parabolas, ellipses, hyperbolas. And then here's our time window for the first exam. So exam one will be available February 8th through the 12th. And you know what? I think I might have to adjust those dates in D2L. I don't think I've adjusted those yet. So this is the actual dates right here. I think I might have told you some other dates in D2L. Let me double check that. I just might have to update them from last spring. So you can see these say 2022. So yeah, I need to update those. Okay. So this is the firm dates right here. So exam one will be available from February 8th all the way to February 12th. And then all the homework that is associated with that unit is going to be due on the last day that the exam is available right there. And that's pretty much how it goes for each unit right here. So the Unit 2 exam, pretty similar. Try to knock that out before spring break. And then we come back. We have a Unit 3, Unit 4, and then we have our final exam down here. So that's our calendar, and these are the topics. And so, since I'm skipping around in the book, how are you going to find where they are, right? Well, that leads me to my next part here. So I'm going to go click on link to math department lecture videos. And so I'm going to click on that, and it's going to open up this page right here. And here we go. And so, and I believe I have a little note in here about this. Let's see. Um, here. Here we go. So right here, ignore the dates that are shown for the link. For correct dates for our class, refer back to the calendar posted in D2L for our class. Okay, so basically this link right here, this goes to Professor Turnell. She's the one who created the textbook, and so she created a bunch of lecture videos, and here are the videos. Now, like I told you, I go in a little bit different order than she does. And this is actually back from when she created this. So this is actually from a couple years ago. But here are the links to her videos. So you just have to go to our calendar. And so trig equations part one, and then I'll go back to her thing. So trig equations part one is right here. Trig equations part one, part A and part B. And so you need to do both of those parts. That's the trig equations part one. She broke it up into two videos. Um, Most of us we don't like our videos to be too long, so a lot of times we'll break them up into um, part 1A and part 1B and so on, just so that the videos aren't too long for you guys. And then this will tell you where you can find it in the book, and then this will tell you the homework. And so she also has homework in the textbook. Now, that you will not be graded on, but it's wonderful practice. So let me pull that up so I can show that to you. So let's see, oh, page 49. Let's see. That's where it's going to start. Here we go. So here it is, trig equations part one. And so the video will start on this page right here and go over these examples with you guys. And then here's part two. Okay, and you can see, you can find these trig identities in D2L under the tab. Let me see, under the printouts, additional printouts and stuff. So you can find this stuff here. So basic trig sheet. Let's see. Here you go. So it has kind of the basics, and then it has a couple of the identities here. And let's see. It doesn't look like we have all the identities. I'll go ahead and add another sheet in here to make sure we have some of the other identities. So I'll add another identity sheet in D2L for that. Okay, so back to here. Okay, so at the end of this, she has some practice homework that you can do. So trigonometric equations right here, and so they give you the problem in the interval that she wants the answer in, and then we have the key right here. So anyways, if you're doing this, I would definitely practice these before you do your homework check. Basically, this is where the homework checks come from. So you'll get very similar examples, maybe even some of them may even be identical to these in the homework checks. And so if you get stuck on any of these, you can always just, once again, send me a screenshot, or you could say, I'm on the textbook, page 55, question 14 and 27. Could you please help me out with those? I know what the answer is, I just don't know why, and I can kind of, from there, I can make you a video and send it to you. So that's kind of how that's going to work. So then, let's go back to D2L and look at our quizzes real quick. So back to our quizzes. So if you look right here, so these are the prerequisite quizzes. This is actually pertains to that part of the textbook right here, part one, and we have part two. So let's go ahead and take a preview of that. And load. Here we go. So right here, cosine of x equals 1/2. Here's your parameters from 0 to 2 pi. So what value of x would give you the value of 1/2? And so select two correct answers. And so once again, that kind of refers to your unit circle and stuff like that. That's pretty basic. Anyways, you have 10 questions here. And as I said, you get 3 attempts. So you can go ahead and try it. Maybe you recall a lot of this stuff from your trig class. You can try it, and then maybe you realize, oh, I need to go back and review a little bit more, and then you can take it a second time. But before you take it a third time, make sure you contact me and you got all the wrinkles figured out so that you can do well. So, all right, I'm going to exit that. And then eventually, when we get to our exam, you'll see exam one right here. It's not until February 8th through the 12th right here. But eventually, we'll get to that, and it's will look a lot like the homework checks, the problems. All right. trying to think if we hit everything. Let's see. So we syllabus, e-text, calendar, links. Yeah, I think that does most of it. So the only thing I'm gonna do, oh, study guys. Here are the study guys. Are the yeah. So, but I'm gonna hide most of these actually, and I will post them as they approach. And so these are study guides that will help you in preparation for each exam and the final exam. So, um, I think other than that, I think that is going to do it. If you think of anything, just, feel free to reach out. If you get stuck on anything, it's always best to really kind of jump on it right away so we can take care of it. So if you get stuck on any of the homeworks or anything, please don't hesitate. Send me an email. Let's get some dialogue going and get you caught up. And I'm looking forward to a great semester. And like I said, if you need any help, just reach out.